Rumpelstiltskin. Dustin the miller loved to boast. One day, speaking to King Kale, he proudly declared, "My daughter, Isolde, can spin straw into the most dazzling gold." King Kale's eyes glittered with greed. He quickly summoned Isolde to the palace. "If you can truly spin gold, you shall be put to the test," he announced. The king led Isolde to a large, cold room piled high with golden straw. "Spin this into gold by morning," he commanded, "or you shall pay the highest price." Then he locked the door. Isolde wept, knowing she couldn't perform such a feat. Suddenly, the chamber door creaked open, and a tiny, strange little man with a mischievous grin hopped in. "Why the tears, little maid?" the dwarf asked with a raspy voice. Isolde told him of the impossible task. "What will you give me," he asked, "if I spin the straw into gold for you?" "I will give you my silver necklace," Isolde promised. The dwarf snatched the necklace, sat at the spinning wheel, and whirr, whirr, whirr! The straw quickly turned into a gleaming pile of gold thread. The next morning, King Kale unlocked the door. He was amazed and overjoyed by the sight of the gold, but his heart only wanted more. He led the poor girl to an even larger chamber, packed from floor to ceiling with straw. "Do this again tonight," the king ordered, his voice tight with greed. Isolde sat down and cried once more, and once more the strange little man reappeared. "Another impossible task?" he chuckled. "What reward for me this time?" "My golden ring," she whispered. The dwarf took the ring, and in a flash of whirring straw and magic, he filled the second room with even more gold. Still, King Kale was not satisfied. He took Isolde to the largest room of all, promising, "Succeed this time, and I will marry you and make you my queen." The dwarf appeared, but Isolde had nothing left to offer. He smiled, a cold, knowing smile. "Then promise me your firstborn child when you become queen." Desperate to live and become queen, Isolde whispered, "I promise." The dwarf worked his magic, and the largest room in the castle was soon filled with brilliant gold. King Kale kept his word and married Isolde, making her queen. A year later, the young Queen Isolde gave birth to a beautiful prince, and in her happiness, she forgot the terrible promise. One quiet afternoon, a year later, the strange little man suddenly stood before her. "A promise is a promise, Queen," he rasped. "I have come for the child." The queen pleaded, offering him all the riches in the kingdom. Seeing her tears, the dwarf relented slightly. "I will give you 3 days," he declared. "If you can guess my name, you may keep the baby." Queen Isolde immediately sent her most trusted messenger, Piers, far and wide to gather every odd, unusual name he could find. For 2 days, the queen guessed name after name, Balthazar, Krusty, Whistlewick. Each time the dwarf appeared and shook his head, saying with a cruel smirk, "That is not my name." On the 3rd day, Piers returned, breathless. He had followed a strange tune to a tiny cottage and seen the dwarf dancing around a fire, singing his secret name. When the dwarf returned, Isolde asked, "Is your name Rumpelstiltskin?" The dwarf shrieked, stomped his foot in fury, and vanished in a puff of smoke and sparks, never to be seen again. The queen and her child were safe, thanks to one hidden name.